Day of the event, I was actually speaking with David about repairing a handrail at the front of the golf club, at the porte-cochere at the front entrance of the club, and he needed something from the workshop to repair that handrail, and he said he'd go to the workshop and get his equipment.
It was a hair-raising day, I must say. I was in the maintenance room. It's like a workbench sort of area, you know, where he sort of has all his tools and so forth. He was sort of standing there at the workbench. I was in another area, in the chemical area, with two of the greenkeepers. I saw out of the corner of my eye David drop. I yelled out from the area that I was at. I was like, David! Nothing, and basically sort of ran straight in. And so I was the first at the scene. He was gurgling and feeling tense, and there was still breaths and so forth. I sort of put him onto his side and tried to open his mouth just to sort of, I wasn't sure whether he was choking on something. Di is the personal assistant to Murray, the CEO, just sort of came past at the right time, and I said to Di, quickly get the ambulance, get Murray, get the equipment.
I got a call from my PA, Di Crouch, to go to the scene of a collapse downstairs.
The greenkeeper staff, I said to straight away to go up to the gate and wait for the ambulance and then bring the ambulance down to where we were, because it can be a bit tricky to know where we actually are. So that was underway. I was with David for probably, it seems like an eternity, but it was probably just a minute.
I arrived there with Colin. Colin had all the first aid equipment and subsequently the AED. And when I got there, David was in the arms of Matthew Furs, and he was not in a good way. At the time when I got there, he was on the floor. Matthew was cradling him. He took a last gasp for air, and I tried to find a pulse in his carotid artery. I couldn't do that. I couldn't find one in the wrist.
We were there and ascertained that he was not breathing, and we decided the defibrillator had to be attached and used in this instance. Murray had put the paddles onto David, and the nice calming voice on the defibrillator machine said that we needed to give the shot.
Do not touch patient. Analyzing rhythm. Shock advised. Stand clear.
Murray then proceeded to fire the button for the shock. There was still no response at this moment, and the voice that came over was saying that we need to administer CPR.
Start CPR.
And we went through 3 cycles of CPR, and we got a cough out of Dave, we got some air, and we found a pulse.
David was talking, was sort of verbal at that point straight after the whole episode, and the ambulance arrived after he'd come to, and they said it was amazing. He was where he should be. They were really amazed at the response, and that everything, and the use of the defibrillation machine, that everything worked out well.